All right, let's talk about what might be the single most important, most high-stakes financial decade of your entire life, your 40s. We're going to dig into why the choices you make during these 10 years have this massive, outsized impact on whether you retire happy or stressed out. So, think of this as a little heart-to-heart for your future self.
Okay, to kick things off, let me tell you a story that, honestly, sounds almost made up. It's about two brothers. They had the same life, pretty much, same jobs, same opportunities. But where they ended up financially, well, they were worlds apart.
And this is where it gets kind of crazy. Just look at the outcomes when they hit 65. One brother has $1.4 million in the bank and all the freedom in the world. The other, just $180,000 and a whole lot of anxiety about the future. So how on earth does that happen when everything else about their lives was basically identical?
And here's the kicker. That entire gap, that life-changing difference in their futures, was created during one single decade, their 40s. It wasn't about some genius move in their 20s or a desperate scramble in their 50s. Nope. The entire game was won or lost between the ages of 40 and 50.
So why? Why this decade? What is it about your 40s that makes it such a massive leverage point for building wealth? Well, it's not magic, it's just math. It's this unique moment where three powerful financial forces all come together at the exact same time, and it only happens once.
Let's break these three forces down. First, you're at your peak earning power. I mean, you're likely making more money than you ever have before, so the amount you can save is bigger. Second, you still have a really decent runway for that money to grow. A dollar you invest at 40 can easily quadruple by the time you're 65. That power starts to fade fast after 50. And third, a lot of those huge expenses, like daycare, might finally be leveling off, which creates this extra cash you can either spend or invest.
And this chart, well, it shows the absolutely brutal math of that choice. The consistent saver, who just socks away 15% starting at age 40, ends up with $1.35 million. Now look at the lifestyle inflator. This person coasted in their 40s, then they panicked and started saving even more, a full 20% in their 50s. Didn't matter. They ended up with less than half, all because they missed that critical window for compounding.
This number, right here, that's the cost. That's the gap between the person who stayed consistent and the person who upgraded their lifestyle. $760,000. That is literally the price tag for a more comfortable decade, followed by a really tight retirement. The math doesn't lie. It's brutal.
So where does all the money go? What are these traps that create this massive gap? Well, it almost always boils down to three huge decisions people make in their 40s, and they often have no idea they're actually million-dollar choices. Let's walk through them. First one up is the house. You've worked so hard, you're making good money, the kids are getting bigger, and that urge to upgrade to a bigger, nicer home is so powerful. It feels like you've earned it, right? It feels like the next logical step. But this one decision can have a hidden cost that is just devastating. See, the real cost of upgrading your house in your 40s isn't just the bigger mortgage payment. It's the opportunity cost. It's all the money you could have been investing instead. That difference, when you let it compound for 25 years, can easily cost you over $1 million in your retirement accounts. You're not just buying a bigger house, you might be selling off your comfortable retirement. All right, next up, cars. You know, as your income goes up, it's so easy to say, hey, I can afford the payment on that luxury SUV. But choosing that fancy brand over something more practical has a huge hidden cost. The extra money for the logo, the higher insurance, the pricier maintenance, that's all money that isn't working for you. Over a decade, that choice can easily suck $200,000 to $400,000 away from your future self.
And the third big one, your kids' college. And wow, this one is emotional. Of course you want the best for your kids. But, and this is a big but, sacrificing your own retirement by taking on huge Parent Plus loans or just stopping your own contributions is a massive mistake. Here's the critical thing to remember. Your kids have their entire careers ahead of them to pay off loans. You have a rapidly closing window to fund your own retirement.
So let's watch how this actually plays out. Meet two families, both starting at age 40. David and Christine, and Robert and Jennifer. I mean, look at these numbers. They're basically financial twins. Super similar incomes, retirement savings are neck and neck, 2 kids, modest homes. They are standing at the exact same starting line. But right here is where their paths completely split, sending them to two totally different futures. David and Christine, they went down the path of what we call lifestyle inflation. They bought the bigger house, got the new luxury cars,
took on the Parent Plus loans, telling themselves that the financial squeeze was just temporary. Meanwhile, Robert and Jennifer made the tougher, more deliberate choices. They stayed put, bought practical cars, and guided their kids toward affordable state schools. Now, fast forward 25 years. Look at this. The result is just staggering. David and Christine, even after they tried to catch up later on, ended up with less than $700 grand. Robert and Jennifer, who simply held the line and invested the difference, they crossed the finish line with almost $1 million more. Their choices in their 40s made all the difference.
So, what can you do right now to make sure you're on the right path? Look, this isn't about feeling bad about past choices. It's about taking action. Here is a clear, simple checklist to help you grab the wheel today. First up, audit your biggest expenses. Be honest with yourself. Is your house a home or is it a wealth trap? Are your cars transportation or are they status symbols? Second, you have to automate your savings. Make it automatic, make it non-negotiable. Third, and this is a big one, define what enough really means for you and tune out all that social pressure to keep upgrading. And finally, don't get complacent in your career. Your 40s are the perfect time to take smart risks to boost your income. Now is the time to be bold, not comfortable.
When you really boil it all down, it comes to a choice. It's a choice between some temporary pleasure right now and permanent freedom later on. You are literally, right now, choosing which version of your future self you're going to become.
I've loved this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. That new car feels amazing for about a year. That bigger house is exciting for maybe 18 months, and then it all just becomes normal. But you're left with the permanent financial straitjacket for decades. So I want you to do something. Picture yourself at 70. Seriously, just take a second. Are you going to be the person who's planning trips to go see your grandkids, totally relaxed about money? Or are you going to be the person staring at the mail, worried that one car repair could blow up your entire month? The decisions that lead to one of those two people, they're being made right now. And I want to leave you with this one last thought. Resisting that constant pressure to spend more in your 40s. Yeah, it might feel like a sacrifice. It might even feel uncomfortable for 10 years. But the reward, the freedom, the security, the peace of mind, that reward lasts for the next 30 years of your life. And that is a trade worth making every single time.